You're listening to the Coconut Avenue Radio and Podcast Network.
Welcome to Out There on the Edge of Everything, the show that examines, helps you understand, and effectively deal with the interesting edges of life. Broadcasting now from the virtual C344 studios overlooking the edge of Coconut Avenue is your host, award-winning and best-selling author, Dr. Stephen Lesavich.
Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Lesavich out there on the edge of everything. This episode is entitled The Power of Disassociation. In personal growth circles, we often hear about the importance of the 4 C's of connection, cooperation, collaboration, and co-creation. We are encouraged to connect, cooperate, collaborate, and co-create with other people and with our own unique soul purpose, our own relationships, our own communities, and our own goals. Yet there is another equally important concept that receives far less attention: the ability to dissociate and disconnect from things that are not good for us. Dissociation in this context is not about denial or avoidance. Rather, it is the conscious decision to separate ourselves from the negative thoughts, behaviors, environments, people, influences, and energies that no longer support our growth, our well-being, or our positive transformation. But before we can move forward into something better, we must first dissociate and disconnect from what is holding us back. The burdens we all carry. Many people carry unnecessary burdens through life. These burdens may include limiting beliefs about what is possible, negative self-talk, toxic relationships, outdated habits, fear-based decision-making, constant exposure to negativity, unrealistic expectations imposed by others. Over time, these influences become so familiar that we mistake them for permanent parts of our identity. We stop questioning whether they belong in our lives. The first step towards meaningful change is recognizing that not everything attached to us is meant to remain attached to us. Dissociation creates space. Imagine you are trying to plant a garden in a soil filled with weeds. No matter how good the seeds are, the weeds compete for sunlight, water, and nutrients. The same principles apply to your own personal development. When we dissociate and disconnect from what drains our energy, we create space for what nourishes us. We create room for new ideas, healthier relationships, better opportunities, and a stronger sense of purpose. Disassociation is not about loss. It's about creating something new in a new energetic space. Sometimes the most important thing you can add to your life is something you first choose to dissociate, then disconnect from. Dissociate to alleviate. Sometimes the most powerful step we can take is to consciously dissociate from people, habits, beliefs, or situations that no longer serve our highest good. Dissociation, in this sense, is not about avoidance. It is instead about creating healthy separation from sources of unnecessary stress, negativity, and limitation. When we dissociate from what drains our energy, we begin to alleviate the emotional, mental, and even physical burdens we have been carrying. The weight of resentment, fear, self-doubt, and toxic relationships starts to lift, creating space for clarity, peace, and renewed purpose. By choosing what we no longer wish to attach ourselves to, we reclaim our power and attention. What once consumed our thoughts loses its influence, allowing us to focus on new opportunities, growth, and positive transformation. The path to alleviating stress, frustration, and overwhelming negative feelings begins with asking yourself this simple question: what do I need to dissociate from right now in my own life? The answer may reveal the very thing that has been standing between you and a lighter, more fulfilling life. Disconnect to reconnect. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and demands for your attention, sometimes the best way to move forward is to intentionally dissociate, then disconnect. By stepping away from the endless streams of information, obligations, and external influences, we create space to hear our own thoughts, our own intuition, and reconnect with what really, truly matters in our own lives. Dissociated and disconnecting is not about withdrawing from life. It is instead about creating a pause that allows us to reconnect with ourselves, our values, our purpose, and the people who are most important to us. When we unplug from the distractions around us, we often discover a deeper sense of clarity, presence, and inner peace. How can you dissociate then disconnect from things in your own life? Consider these 3 things. Number 1, dissociate from limiting stories. Many people live according to their life stories they have been telling themselves for years, such as, I'm too old, I'm not qualified, I've always been this way, success happens to other people, etc. These life stories originate from past experiences, not present reality. When you learn to dissociate and disconnect yourself from these narratives, you gain the freedom to write a new chapter in your life story. Your past may influence you, but it does not have to define you. Number 2, dissociate from negative energies and negative influences. Negative energy is contagious. So is positive energy. The people, social media, conversation, relationships, and environments you engage with each day influence your mindset and your outlook. Ask yourself these questions. Does this relationship help me grow? Does this activity energize me or drain me? Does this information inspire me or discourage me? Does this environment support who I am becoming? If the answer to any of these questions is no, it is time to disassociate and disconnect from all of these negative influences and negative energies in your own life. Choosing distance from negativity is not selfish. It is necessary for personal growth. Number 3, dissociate from fear. Fear often disguises itself as a practical solution, a caution, or even a certainty. But remember, fear, F-E-A-R, is false evidence appearing real. Fear says, stay where you are. Don't take the risk. Don't speak up. Don't try something new. Growth and transformation requires movement beyond fear. When we learn to observe fear without becoming controlled by it, we create new opportunities that fear would otherwise have prevented for us in our own life. The goal is to not eliminate fear. The goal is to stop identifying with fear. It is time to dissociate, then disconnect from all fears in your life. There's a great technique, a tool, to dissociate and disconnect from all fears in your life. That tool, that technique, is to ask yourself, where are my feet? If your feet are in the past, you are reliving fears from your past experiences. If your feet are in the future, you are projecting your own fears into the future. Keep your feet right underneath you in the present moment. I have written another blog post and done a podcast entitled, It's Where Your Feet Are. You can check that out on lesavich.com and listen to the podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Here's another practical exercise for learning to dissociate and disconnect. Take a few minutes and create 2 columns on a piece of paper. This exercise is called Gaining Clarity Through Contrasts. Label the first column, What Serves Me. Label the second column, What No Longer Serves Me. Be honest. List the people, habits, beliefs, commitments, activities, and influences that belong in each column. Choose 1 item per day from the What No Longer Serves Me column and take a step towards disassociating and disconnecting from it. Also choose 1 item per day from the What Serves Me column and take a step towards connecting to and associating with it. Positive transformation is about what we are willing to release from our lives and what we want to put into our lives. Small acts of dissociation and disconnection create powerful transformations over time and create a positive impact in your life. Till next time, I'm Dr. Stephen Lesavich, way out there on the edge of everything.
You have been listening to Out There on the Edge of Everything, the show that examines, helps you understand, and effectively deal with the interesting edges of life. For more information on your host, Dr. Stephen Lesavich, please visit slesavich.com. For more information on prior and future shows, please visit coconutavenueradio.net.
This is the Coconut Avenue Radio and Podcast Network.